Some hands are meant to build, and some are meant to burn. In the shadows of Mist Harbour, 43 students spent their summer collecting small coins, just to buy books for the poor. They were the wallflowers of the Academy of Light, invisible to the world, until the night the world decided to erase them. The paradox is simple. They carried hope in their pockets, but the city met them with lead and fire. 1,000 degrees Celsius. That is the temperature of a lie. They say 43 bodies were turned to ash in a garbage dump in less than a night. But the math of death doesn't add up. Behind the Mask of Sanity, those in uniform watched the fire burn. September 26th, 2014, is not a date. It is a scar on the face of justice. Welcome to the simulation. Welcome to Mist Harbour, where 43 dreams went to die, and the truth is still buried under a mountain of ash. To understand the fire, you must first understand the light. Far from the neon heart of Mist Harbour sits the Academy of Light, a sanctuary for the forgotten. They were not sons of privilege. They were the sons of the soil, young men with dirt under their fingernails, and dreams of becoming teachers. In a city of shadows, wanting to teach is a dangerous ambition. They lived on nothing: bread, water, and the hope that they could change the world. One classroom at a time. The state saw them as radicals, but the simulation shows only boys, terrified of a future that would never come. 43 names, carved into the silence of the countryside. They didn't know that the bus they were about to board was a one-way ticket to the end of the world. The sky opened up over Mist Harbour. It wasn't rain. It was a warning from the gods. 5 old buses, carrying dreams too heavy for their engines, drove straight into the mouth of the beast. They thought the flashing lights meant help. They were wrong. In Mist Harbour, the uniform is just a costume for the predator. The first shots didn't just shatter glass. They shattered the illusion of safety forever. A splash of red appeared on the window, the only vibrant color in this black and white nightmare. The simulation shows a coordinated hunt. The police fired on unarmed students, not for minutes, but for hours. This was not chaos. This was system failure by design. When the guns finally stopped, 6 bodies lay on the wet asphalt. But the real horror wasn't what was left behind. It was what was taken. 43 souls loaded into trucks like cattle, driven into a darkness deeper than the night. The monster doesn't always hide in the woods. Sometimes, it sits in an office with a view. The architect of Mist Harbour had a problem. 43 problems, with signs and loud voices. A celebration of power was about to begin. The Queen of Thorns wanted a perfect night. She didn't want the filth of the streets to ruin her party. The order was simple. Teach them a lesson. Make them disappear. 1 phone call. 0 hesitation. The police were no longer guardians. They were the delivery boys for the Iron Tide. A business transaction involving human souls, handed over like a debt that needed to be settled. This is the web, a place where the law and the outlaw drink from the same cup. In the simulation, we see the Mask of Sanity slip, revealing a truth darker than the night of the bus attack. They needed a final chapter, a story to put the ghosts to rest. The state called it the historical truth, a narrative written in soot and deception. They claimed a massive fire at the dump turned 43 lives into dust in 16 hours. But the biology of a lie is fragile. Forensic math says no. To burn 43 bodies, you need tons of wood, tons of tires, and a sky that doesn't weep. That night, the rain in Mist Harbour was heavy enough to drown a soul. Fire doesn't survive a flood. Out of the mountain of ash, only one fragment spoke. A small piece of bone from Alexander, found in a river, miles away from the alleged fire. One fragment is enough to break 1,000 lies. The simulation proves it. They weren't burned. They were erased. The ash lie was a mask of sanity for a failing state. But ghosts don't burn, and the rain of Mist Harbour remembers everything. In the simulation, evil is not a monster. It is a machine. The men who loaded the trucks didn't see students. They saw inventory, cargo that needed to be deleted from the system. Why the fire? Why the ash? Because a body is evidence, but a missing person is a ghost. You cannot prosecute a ghost. This is the ultimate logic of the predator: to transform human existence into a permanent question mark. The psychology is simple. Terror is a tool of management. By erasing 43 teachers, they didn't just kill men. They killed the idea of resistance. In Mist Harbour, silence is the only currency the law accepts. The simulation ends where the conscience begins. They slept soundly that night, because the Mask of Sanity was still tight. But the ash, it has a way of finding its way home. Time is a cruel judge in Mist Harbour. Years have passed, but the clocks stopped on September 26th, 2014. 43 families are still waiting for a bus that will never arrive. Justice is not blind here. It is simply looking the other way. They replaced the truth with ash, and the ash with silence. But for those who remember, every rainy night in this city carries the whispers of the 43. The simulation shows no closure, only a cycle of power and pain. The architects may change their names, but the predator is still wearing a uniform, watching from the shadows, waiting for the next bus. The simulation shows no closure, only a cycle of power and pain. The architects may change their names, but the predator is still wearing a uniform, watching from the shadows, waiting for the next bus. The file on Mist Harbour remains open in our minds, even if the world wants it closed. This is Crime Noir. If you want to see through the Mask of Sanity, stay in the shadows with us. Subscribe and leave your thoughts below. Good night, and be careful who you trust. In the rain.